Last day in Kettering. I'm just putting water on now, and that's the last job. I'll take the covers off the windscreens in a minute, and we'll be out of the marine a day early. But the diesel heater broke down day before yesterday. I pulled it out and de-sooted it yesterday, put it back in, but it's not working. There's a little PCB in there, and I think I've upset that a bit. So the diesel heater's not going, and that's an omen. Time to go. So we're just heading out of the marine. I'm just going to head across Storm Bay and up towards the Denison Canal. That'll be the trip for today. And then we'll just, with the weather, make our way up the coast of Tassie, across the ditch, and back up onto mainland Australia. Be interesting this time because I'm doing it on my own. So solo sailing all the way back up to the mainland. Rang the kids this morning. Of course, they're worried about me, but yeah, look, I should be all right. It's a long trip across. It takes me about 38-40 hours, but yeah, I should be able to do that okay, and have a good rest when I get there, probably in Two-Foal Bay. So a bit of a challenge doing it on your own. Be a lot better with Wombi here, but yeah, it's all doable. Well, we don't wear skimpy bikinis. Hell, it frightens me when I take my shirt off. There's definitely no one pregnant here. This is motor sailing for old dudes. We do live on a boat, and we do cruise extensively along the Australian coast. Join us and visit some great destinations. Learn how to look after a boat and live off grid. It might even get you enthused to do the same thing. Hey, stay out there till you can't. Just leaving Kettering, and it's a little bit sad actually. I've had a great time there. Been there for a month, and a bit over a month actually, and I've met a lot of really great people. Some lovely people live in Tasmania. The pace of life here is so much slower than the mainland. It's not that much rush, and people are just so accommodating, and not the word, but they're very open and very friendly. Can't do enough to help you. So I think I'll probably be back for the next Wooden Boat Festival in a couple of years' time, whether it's in the boat or some other way, but it's definitely worth coming down, having a look. And yeah, now I'm just heading up towards Tinderbox. We'll head up across Storm Bay and into Norfolk Bay, and then I've got to organise to have the bridge open in the Denison Canal. And we're actually heading north. So I just talked to Wendy on the phone, and she's excited that I'm coming up. She's making some sort of plans to get down the south coast of New South Wales as well. So that's probably where we'll meet up again, and yeah, I'm looking forward to being back with the Wombi. A little bit of northerly here, not much, but a little bit. Not really what I want. I'll probably get up to opposite Tinderbox, and there's a little cove there. I might just hide in there and have lunch, and wait for this wind to go round to the south, which it's supposed to do this afternoon. So I might wait till this afternoon before I shonk across to Norfolk Bay. Anyway, good to be back on the boat and making a few miles again, making a few more videos. This is the Iron Pot, marks the entrance of the Derwent River, and gets the name because apparently they used to drag whales up on that beach and cut them up and put them in iron pots to cook them up for whale oil. There you go, head sail set, 4.9 to 6.1 in not much breeze. Probably only blowing about 10 knots, I reckon. All helps. Little Betsy Island, and there's some nasty rocks just off it, so I've got to be a bit careful around this part of the coast. Well, it's a pretty great day to be heading north again. Wind's dropped right out now, probably about 5 knots on the nose still, and it is supposed to go around to the southeast. We're just heading up around the corner here, and in front of us probably another hour or so, and we're going to anchor up in Lime Bay for the night. That's just across from the Denison Canal. And then when I get there, I might even organise for a bridge opening tomorrow sometime, and we'll get through that. That's quite interesting. They've got a swing bridge there, so it rotates and lets you go through, and then we're back out to sea again, but inside Maria Island. So anyway, had lunch, cup of tea and an Oreo. Life's good. Good little anchorage here. The wind's got up from the south, pretty strong now, and we're out of it in Lime Bay, but it's got cool too. The wind's gone round to the south, and it has got a fair bit cooler. It's just starting to rain. I got a barbie in before the rain started, and I've just washed the dishes. Time for a cup of tea and a Tim Tam, and pretty soon I'll be off to bed. I booked the channel Denison Canal for 11 o'clock. So we'll have to get organised and get over there for that. Once I get on the other side of Denison, I'm probably going to head up to Orford or Tribunna. Anyway, nice and calm. Well, before I do any sort of passage, I always check my engine rooms. I ran for about 5 hours yesterday, and I just, even after that shorter run, I still like to come down and just make sure everything's okay in the engine room before I fire up the motors. What I do, I check my fluid levels, I check my oil levels, check the bilge, make sure there's no water or oil laying in the bilge, check my gearbox, make sure the oil in the gearbox is okay as well. And it's just, it only takes me 5 minutes, and just gives me a little bit of peace of mind. You know that when you start, everything's right. So it's always a good thing to do on any boat. Okay, that's all pretty good. Happy about that. This is Callum on his boat Commotion. He's been following us for a while, so it was good to catch up with him here in Lime Bay. It's from Kettering. short trip over to the canal. I've organised to have it open at 11 o'clock, so I'm going to get there in plenty of time. We might anchor up when I get over near it and wait, or they might call me through. We'll just see what happens. A very calm day today, low cloud, overcast, a little bit of sun, but I think maybe the rain's finished. It rained all night. Once we get through the canal, we'll head up inside Maria Island, maybe to Orford or Tribunna, or maybe even right up to Shooting Passage. Just entering the Mark Channel into the Denison Canal now. I've just called the bridge keeper and he's said to come on through, so here we go. Good on you, see ya. Looks like we're the farewell committee at Denali. Well, we're through the canal. I did it at low tide. If you drew a bit, you'd want to get a bit of tide on that before you did it. I didn't get down under 2 at low tide, but yeah, if you drew a bit, you'd probably want to give it a bit of tide before you attempted it. I think they say anything with 2 metre draft can navigate through safely. So now we're through the canal. All we've got to do now is navigate down Blackman's Bay and out through Marion Narrows. So that's what we'll do now. was a pretty emotional trip through the canal. Quite a few people came down to say goodbye, and I guess I realised just how I'm going to miss you people down in Tassie. You're a great mob, and I've met some wonderful dudes while I've been down here. So look, thanks very much for watching, all you Tassie dudes. It is a little bit sad to be leaving. There's a lot of shoals through here. I was just down to 1.3, so I wouldn't like it to be much shallower. So from here I'm just coming around onto back leads. There's some leads in line that guide you out across the bar here. So I'll just come around on those leads now. Same as any bar, you can see where the calm water is. It's a good tide because the tide's flooding in. I'm just going to head towards that rocky point in front of us a little bit and then straighten up. It'll take us off the leads a bit, but I think that's where the better water is. Pretty shallow here, that's for sure. That's Maria Island, you can see out to our right, and we're just popping out into the Tasman Sea now. Pretty flat day. On the outer bar here, down to about 2.8 metres. But very good conditions this morning for crossing. Strong wind warning out for today, but no real sign of it. There's not even enough wind to even think about getting some sail out. We've only got about another hour or so to get up to Spring Bay, and I think I'm just going to, there's a couple of moorings in there, so I think I'll pick up a mooring and we'll hang there for the afternoon, and then skip across to Shooting tomorrow, break it up a little bit. No desperate hurry. Got a little while to go before we get to the top anyway, so I'm not rushing up to catch weather or anything like that, so we might as well do it a little bit more sedately. Well, there's not much wind pressure there, but we're getting probably 0.3 or 0.4 of a knot just on the breeze we've got, and hopefully it's starting to get up a little bit. It might be just starting to fill in. Well, the wind's not doing much, and I'm going to furl the sail. I've got to hold the course up here, and I'll furl it before it gets backwinded, and I'd have to drive it onto the other side, but there's not enough puff in the wind to give us anything really. The sail just hanging out to dry really. Well, I've rolled the sail up because there's not enough wind to really hold it, and we haven't really dropped any speed. We're still doing 5.4. So we're just heading up around the corner here into Orford. There's a bay there, and I think I can pick up a mooring if there's one available. There's 2 moorings there apparently, mast ones. So we'll grab one of those moorings. I'm not going to go ashore or anything. It's just a really overcast, miserable, rainy day. It's not all that cold, but it's it's not much inducing me to get in the dinghy and go ashore, that's for sure. It's probably a great little spot. But anyway, we'll stay on the boat. I'm just doing short trips up the coast of Tassie. Probably we'll have done about 6 hours today, and another short one tomorrow up to Shooting Passage. But then I've got quite a long one up to St Helens, and I'm probably going to go into St Helens and get fuel. I must ring up and find out about getting fuel there too. I'll ring and see about organising fuel there. And then from there it's up to the top, and I might have to go all the way to the mainland from St Helens, which adds another 10 hours to the trip. But if the weather's right, you're probably better off doing it with the good weather. Otherwise, I'll probably try and sneak up to Lady Barron and hide out of any wind there for a little while, and then get the weather right to go across Bass Strait. So that's the plan for the moment. We'll see how we go. Still a bit of travelling to do along the coast. It's a shame the weather's not a bit better. I'd probably go ashore and have a look around Orford for you, but yeah, it's pretty miserable today. I'm a little bit wet from unfurling and furling sails, and yeah, I'll be just glad to get in, pick up a mooring, and have a very easy afternoon. Cook a bit of dinner and probably in bed again. Had a great sleep last night on the pick, and I'll have to do that again tonight, because once I leave to head across, I've got about 40 hours non-stop, and that's a bit of a hard one. You can't stay awake for all that time, it's impossible, but when I get tired, what I do, I set my alarm for 15 minutes, and I lay down and go to sleep for 15 minutes. The alarm wakes me up. I get up, I walk all the way around the boat, check the radar, check our course, do all of that, and then I go and set the alarm for another 15 minutes. So by doing it in 15-minute grabs, it means we're only travelling probably 1.5 nautical mile. You can usually see in Bass Strait there's no craypots to run over or anything like that, or little boats. So you're only worried about the ships out there, and you can usually see them a lot further off than that. So I think it's relatively safe. I know it's not, you know, by the regulations you're supposed to have someone on watch all the time, but you just can't physically do that when you're doing a really long trip over a stretch of open water. So that's the way I'll attack it. But anyway, that's in the future. A few more short jumps to do before we get up there and do that. I'm just taking a little bit of care coming in here, not getting too close to Luther Point, because the chart shows a lot of kelp beds around the point there, so I'm just taking a wide swing around it, and then we'll head to port up into the bay. There's a few boats in there. We'll just have to go and see if there's a mooring available. Otherwise we'll just have to drop the pick, I guess. A lot of moorings in there, and I think I can see one that looks like a mast mooring. So we'll go and have a look. This one out here will probably do us okay, because I'm not planning on going ashore really. mooring in Spring Bay. Fantastic. Wind hasn't got up to what they forecast today. There was a strong wind warning out yesterday, but it hasn't really got strong at all. So hopefully we get a little bit more wind yesterday to get up to Shooting Passage. It's only 22, 23 nautical mile, I think, so it's a bit of a short one. But I'll have a pleasant afternoon here, cook some dinner, another early night to bed probably, and yeah, another bit of a trip a bit further north tomorrow.